How do you reduce the fear of being fired when you realize that literally anyone can be fired? My name is Brittany. I work with burnt out overachievers, and the constant fear of being fired is a huge driver of burnout, even among people that are getting constant positive feedback at work, even among people with a high degree of financial security. So, how do you overcome it? You need to focus less on if you'll be fired and more on what will happen after. That level of fear has less to do with the firing itself and more about what we imagine will happen after that. Almost everyone I talk to who's constantly afraid of being fired has some version of what I call the van down by the river story. It goes a little something like this. If I don't over-deliver at work, then I am going to be perceived as a slacker. Then I'm going to be fired. And then people are going to know that I'm fired. I'm not going to be able to find another job. I'm not going to be able to find any job. I'm going to run out of money, and then I'm going to lose my house, and then I'm going to end up living in a van down by the river. So when you start to see it this way, the focus no longer becomes on how can I get fired, but how can I be okay even if I am? Here's an exercise everyone should do regardless of whether they're afraid of being fired or not. Figure out what 1 month of living expenses looks like. Then look at how much you have in savings and stock, how much cash and easily accessible money you have on hand, and calculate how many months could I be completely 100% unemployed and still have food, shelter, heat, and phone. Then I want you to compare that to how many months you think it would take to get a job that would pay at least well enough for you to meet your monthly living expenses. Not necessarily your dream job, but a job that could pay the bills to bridge the gap until you found a job you really did want. You'll figure out one of two things. Either you really would be quite screwed if you were to lose your job tomorrow, in which case it's figuring out how can I start to have a little bit more in savings and maybe question a little bit of inner pride of I'm too good to do certain types of jobs. But for many of the people that I work with, they are privileged enough to realize actually I probably would be okay for a fair amount of time. There are a few other exercises you can do to focus on the landing on your feet part, but remember, a cat walks on a fence with confidence, not only because it has the audacity to think it won't fall off, but it knows it'll land on its feet if it does. If you like getting actionable tips, be sure to click the link in my bio to sign up for my newsletter or grab my freebie. I always include a 2-minute action plan in every newsletter when I do send it out. And TikTok might go down, so it's a way to stay in touch.